Go.
Welcome back. Now we're going to be talking about 8.1 Part 2, where we're going to be continuing working with standard measurements. And in this section, we're going to be talking about standard measurements when it comes to weights. Those of you that are going to go into the nursing profession, let's say that you're lucky enough to get to work into the delivery area, you always have to measure how long somebody's baby is, and then you also have to measure how much they weigh. And so here's an example of where you need to be able to convert that to pounds and ounces, which are the most common ways that we measure in standard measurements. Now, for those of you that don't know or don't remember, there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So instead of using 12 like we did for feet and inches, we're going to be using 16 because that's what you convert with when you're doing the measurements of weight. Okay? So, example, if I have 4 pounds and I would like to know how many ounces that is. Pound is the bigger weight, and we're going to the smaller weight. So if you go from big to small, remember that means you multiply. So you're going to take the 4 and multiply it by 16 this time, because remember we're doing pounds and ounces. So 4 times 16 would be 64, so 4 pounds is equal to 64 ounces. If you're going from 32 ounces and you would like to change that into pounds, ounces is the smaller unit and pounds is the larger. So remember, when you go from small to large, you divide. So I'm going to take 32 and divide it by 16, and that would go in there 2 times. So 32 ounces is 2 pounds. Okay? So it's the same idea, but you just have to remember to use 16 now instead of 12. Well, let's look at the mixed guys. Okay? So let's say I've got 1 and I want to convert it, and it's going to convert to mixed. If I have 69 ounces and I want to convert it to pounds, well, if you take 69 and divide it by 16, you're going to see that it didn't go in even. It goes in there a decimal number of times. And remember, in standard measurements, we do not use decimals. So you say, well, what's the whole number of times it goes in there? It went in there 4 times. Well, now that's how many times it goes in. You've got to find your remainder. So remember, we're going to take 4 times 16. That would be 64. Subtract, and I've got 5 that are left over. So we're going to use the same idea we did before. How many times did it go in? It went in 4. So 4 is my pounds. What was your leftover? 5. And that would be your leftover ounces. So 69 ounces is the same as 4 pounds and 5 ounces. Use exactly the same idea as dividing with the remainder that we did in chapter 1. Now, remember that how many times it goes in is your pounds, your remainder is your ounces. Okay? We go the other way. If I have 7 pounds and 2 ounces, it's a mixed up one, and I want to get it to just 1, so I do the opposite. Instead of divide and subtract, I'm going to multiply and add. So I'm going to take how many pounds and multiply it times 16, because remember, that's my converter. And then I'm going to add the 2 ounces. So 7 times 16 would be 112. I add the 2 leftover ounces I had, and that's how I get 114 ounces. Remember, you take how many pounds and you multiply them times the 16, and you add your ounces. So if you're going from a mixed to a single one, you multiply and add. If you're going from a single one to a mixed, you divide and subtract. So now you can finish 8.1.